You see this beauty right here? Looks harmless enough, doesn't it? A little hydraulic magic, some steel, a platform with a great view, like a theme park ride for grown-ups. But here's the thing. If you treat it like a ride, it can send you to a place you really don't want to go, the hospital or worse. Now, I know what you're thinking. I've used one before, I know what I'm doing, and that's great until you remember that most serious airlift accidents happen to people who've been doing this for years, quote unquote. Now, it's not the machine that changes, it's our habits. We get comfortable, maybe a little too comfortable. That's when the lift reminds us who's really in charge. Today, we're going to learn how to keep you in charge. We'll talk about hazards, how to tame them, the OSHA rules that keep you legal and alive, and how to make sure this lift is your partner, not your problem. By the time we're done, you'll know how to operate it safely, pass your hands-on evaluation, and go home in one piece with all your fingers and toes right where you left them. Let's start with the hazards, because knowing what can hurt you is the first step in preventing it. The biggest risk is falling from the lift. That's why fall protection isn't optional, it's required. Another serious hazard is tip overs. These can happen if the lift is overloaded, if it's used on soft or uneven ground, or if it's moved while the boom is extended. You also need to watch out for overhead power lines. Contact with a live line can cause serious injury or death in an instant. Even if you're not in the lift, you're not off the hook. People working on the ground can be hit by falling tools, materials, or debris. So hard hats and situational awareness are critical. Before you even think about operating an airlift, you need to know the machine you're working with. That starts with reading the manufacturer's manual and reviewing the safety labels posted right on the lift. They'll tell you important things like the maximum load the platform can hold, the highest point it can reach, and whether or not it's insulated for electrical work. That information isn't just for show, it's there to keep you safe. Remember, each lift can be different, even if it looks similar to another one you've used before. Knowing your equipment also means understanding how it behaves under different conditions. The load capacity can change depending on whether stabilizers or outriggers are deployed, or whether the boom is extended. Some models even have different ratings based on the angle of the boom. And just because a lift is insulated doesn't mean it's completely safe to work near power lines. You still have to follow clearance requirements. Every shift before you use a lift, you need to give it a thorough once-over. This isn't just a good habit, it's required by OSHA. Walk all the way around it, look for cracks and welds, look in hydraulic lines, frayed wires, or damaged tires. Make sure guardrails are secure and the anchor points are solid. Test the controls from both the platform and the ground to make sure they respond smoothly and without hesitation. And don't forget to check the interlock devices. These are built-in safety systems that prevent the lift from moving or operating in unsafe ways. If anything looks wrong, don't guess. Tag the lift out and have a qualified technician inspect and repair it before use. Even if the lift is in perfect condition, the ground you put it on can make or break your safety. Avoid soft, freshly filled soil that could sink under the weight. Stay away from drop-offs, ditches, or steep slopes that could cause instability. Clear away debris, grease, or water that could cause the lift to slip. And always, always look up. Identify any overhead hazards before you start, especially power lines. If there's any doubt, have a ground spotter watching while you maneuver and make sure they have a reliable way to communicate with you. Once you've inspected the lift and the worksite, it's time to set up. Park on a stable, level surface, set the parking brake, place wheel chocks under the tires, deploy outriggers or stabilizers if the manufacturer requires them, and make sure they're on solid footing. Once the boom is up, don't move the lift unless the manufacturer specifically says you can. Even then, it's usually safer to lower the boom first before repositioning. When you're in the lift, keep your feet planted firmly on the platform floor. Don't climb on the rails or use a ladder inside the basket to gain extra height. Don't bridge a gap with a plank. Your fall protection gear should be attached to the manufacturer-approved anchor point, not to a pole, a building, or another structure. If you move the lift while you're tied off to something else, you could be pulled right out of the platform. Keep your workspace clear of clutter and tripping hazards, and make sure tools and materials are secured so they don't fall. OSHA requires that boom lift operators wear a full body harness with a lanyard attached to the designated anchor point on the lift or boom. For scissor lifts, which is a different training anyway, Guardrails are considered sufficient unless they're damaged or missing. Then a harness becomes necessary. Either way, inspect your fall protection before every use. Look for frayed webbing, damaged hardware, or stitching that's coming loose. Adjust the harness so it fits snugly but comfortably before stepping onto the platform. Things can go wrong. Power can fail, a lift can malfunction, a worker can become injured or incapacitated. You need to be ready for these situations. That means knowing how to lower the platform, using the controls inside the lift and from the ground. In your hands-on training, you'll practice operating those controls until you can do it without hesitation. You'll also learn how to assist someone who's stuck in the lift, how to coordinate with ground crew during a rescue, and when and how to call for emergency help. If you're on the ground, never touch the lift if it's near power lines. Electricity always seeks the easiest path to ground, and you could become that path. After this classroom session, you'll complete the hands-on portion of your training. You'll show that you can do a full pre-operational inspection, operate the lift smoothly and safely, avoid hazards, and follow fall protection rules. You'll demonstrate safe navigation around obstacles and prove you can use emergency lowering controls if needed. You also need to show you can shut down the lift safely and secure it when you're finished. This isn't just a test, it's confirmation that you can work safely and responsibly before operating without supervision. Look, aerial lifts are incredible tools, but they demand respect. Know your equipment, inspect it before every use, check your work area, use your fall protection correctly, stay alert to hazards, communicate with your team, and always follow safe work practices. Your safety and the safety of those around you depends on it. And your choices matter today, to your teammates, to your loved ones, to you. So stay safe, and I'll see you in the next one.